Gospel singer and pastor Donnie McClurkin is being sued for allegedly sexually abusing a man for a year. The victim, Giuseppe Corletto, said in the lawsuit that he sought out McClurkin in 2003.
Imagine uncovering something so unexpected in the home of a well-known religious figure that it ignites nationwide shock. What could possibly prompt federal agents to launch such an intense investigation inside a respected pastor's mansion? Recent developments involving Pastor Donnie McClurkin's private residence have raised questions that many never anticipated. From the appearance of secretive FBI activity to whispers of hidden findings, this story promises twists that challenge everything we thought we knew. What exactly did the FBI uncover, and why is it shaking people across the country? Unveiling the FBI search. The sudden arrival of FBI agents at Pastor Donnie McClurkin's mansion caught many by surprise. Neighbors reported increased security and unmarked vehicles that hinted at a serious federal inquiry. The presence of law enforcement officials was not a brief visit, but an extended, thorough search, signaling something out of the ordinary. Yet, authorities remained tight-lipped, only confirming the search was part of a broader investigation that could have significant implications. Inside the residence, agents reportedly focused their efforts on specific areas tied to private documents and electronic devices. Speculation about what they might have uncovered began circulating, stirring curiosity and concern. The uncertainty surrounding the FBI's motives added layers of intrigue to a figure previously viewed primarily as a spiritual leader. While no official charges or accusations have been made, the investigation's intensity suggests more beneath the surface than meets the eye. The secrecy around the search has led to many questions. What prompted such targeted federal attention at the home of a prominent gospel artist and pastor? Rumors raced ahead of any formal explanation, emphasizing hidden elements waiting to be revealed. This quiet mystery shaped the initial public reaction, as people struggled to reconcile the pastor's public persona with the unexpected federal focus. Even though details are still sparse, early reports suggested that agents treated the search with the utmost seriousness, bringing in specialized teams and technology. It didn't feel like a routine check or just a simple procedural matter. Federal authorities seemed convinced that what they were hoping to uncover was genuinely important. Still, the exact nature of the discovery stays undisclosed, and the country is left in suspense. Questions about potential motives started swirling, and of course, people tried to connect the dots. Could it be tied to money, personal conduct, or maybe gated knowledge that only McClurkin and a tight circle of associates might know? The ambiguity became this loud kind of engine for public attention. Yet, while no classified or even wildly speculative information has been leaked, it's still evident that the investigation is layered and complex. What makes it more compelling is the contrast between McClurkin's reputation as a respected spiritual figure and the seriousness of a federal probe taking place at his home. It creates this scene that feels sharper and more gripping, especially given the secrecy and the high stakes involved. The information forthcoming will, no doubt, reshape how many people see things once it's finally released, whenever that happens. With the search clearly set as a federal priority, many wondered how such a respected pastor's life had intersected with law enforcement at this level. Anticipation kept building as more bits and pieces, official and unofficial, began swirling around. For now, all eyes remained locked on what comes next. Before diving deeper into the motivations and background that might explain this event, it's important to understand who Donnie McClurkin is and the foundation of his public life. Background on Pastor Donnie McClurkin. Donnie McClurkin is widely known as one of gospel music's most influential voices. Over the past 3 decades, his powerful songs and deeply spiritual messages have reached millions worldwide. Beyond his music career, McClurkin has built a reputation as a devoted pastor, leading congregations with a focus on hope, healing, and redemption. His public image is one of both artistic talent and moral leadership. Born in 1959, McClurkin's journey has been marked by overcoming tremendous personal challenges, including significant trauma during childhood. These experiences have deeply informed his ministry and the authenticity behind his music. His story has inspired countless people who see him as a symbol of resilience and faith. His contributions to gospel music earned him multiple Grammy Awards and numerous other accolades. McClurkin's role as a pastor extends beyond the stage. He has served as senior pastor at Perfecting Faith Church in Freeport, New York, cultivating a community centered on spiritual growth and transformation. His sermons often stress personal responsibility and divine grace, messages that have cemented his standing in the religious community. This leadership has made him a household name not just for music fans, but for congregants around the country. His influence reaches deep into both religious and secular arenas, so any federal investigation becomes pretty much instantly newsworthy. People keep asking how an established figure like this could end up smack in the middle of an FBI probe. And honestly, it feels a little surreal. With McClurkin's decades-long public presence, his involvement with the authorities feels like a sharp turn, dramatic and kind of out of nowhere. Even with the public respect he gets, McClurkin is still very private about his personal life. That level of discretion only seems to feed more curiosity when those murmurs about investigations start to circulate. What he does when the cameras aren't around remains mostly unknown, and that creates this weird contrast with his visible spiritual leadership. Together, it puts people in a mindset of wonder, like what could possibly be going on underneath all that. On top of that, his career includes advocacy across a range of issues. He's been supportive of marginalized communities, and he also talks plainly about his own battles, not just the polished parts. That mix makes it harder for anyone to view him in just one direction, especially now that the recent news is out there. McClurkin's story is not something you can file neatly, which makes the FBI's involvement feel even more puzzling. As the investigation goes on, people who've known his life or followed his path for years are weighing these factors carefully. His background sets the tone for how serious the situation feels, while also spotlighting the mystery of federal authorities searching his home. It's a context you really can't ignore if you want to understand how the story is unfolding. With a clearer picture of who McClurkin is, it's important to consider the wider scope of the FBI's inquiry and what federal investigations of this nature typically entail. The investigation's scope. Federal investigations, especially those involving high-profile individuals, are usually complex and carefully orchestrated operations. When the FBI mobilizes in this way, it is often in response to information that suggests significant legal or national security concerns. The search at McClurkin's mansion implies more than a casual probe. It indicates the presence or suspicion of something substantial. The FBI's activities often target specific areas based on preliminary findings or tip-offs. These can range widely, from financial irregularities and fraud to digital evidence collection or even national security issues. Yet, no credible reports so far connect this case to terrorism or violent crime, narrowing the possibilities in focus. Whatever the reason, the investigation is being conducted with careful precision. To understand the depth of the inquiry, it helps to consider the protocols the FBI follows. Before initiating a search, agents usually secure warrants backed by probable cause demonstrated to a judge. This process suggests the authorities have collected enough information to justify an intrusive search, elevating the seriousness of the situation. Such measures aren't taken lightly, especially involving a public figure. Previous cases involving religious leaders or entertainers often relate to financial misconduct or related concerns, but each investigation is unique. The unraveling of complicated matters inside a private residence may involve document reviews, electronic devices, or interviews. Agents are trained to follow leads wherever they may lead, under strict legal oversight. The investigation's scope might also include interviewing associates or reviewing prior records. Even so, nothing specific has been released about those points. The size of the FBI's presence, honestly, looks like there's an ongoing, multifaceted inquiry going on, not something that's over after one single day. These types of operations can stretch weeks or months before any real conclusions are finally stated. Even with officials keeping quiet, the sheer intensity of the investigation has already sent out ripples across several different sectors. It signals the FBI's resolve to uncover the truth, no matter the person's standing. That can bolster confidence in legal procedures, but it also shows how unpredictable these situations can become, because reality rarely follows neat timelines. What's unfolding now also makes clear how sensitive and tangled matters like this can get. Investigations at this scale tend to expose layers underneath public personas, often reshaping the public narrative in ways people do not anticipate. To really understand what's developing, you have to watch how the media responds and how the public reacts to each new turn. Meanwhile, the rumors, plus the visible reactions around the case, have started to steer a wider discussion about accountability and trust in leadership. Transitioning from what the FBI might be looking for to how people have absorbed this shocking news reveals much about society's relationship with fame and morality. Public and media reaction. News of the FBI's involvement in Pastor Donnie McClurkin's mansion quickly captured public attention, sparking a wave of reactions across social media and news platforms. Many expressed shock and disbelief, struggling to reconcile the image of a revered gospel singer and pastor with the presence of federal agents conducting a serious search. The juxtaposition of faith-based leadership and federal scrutiny created a deep sense of tension among supporters and critics alike. This event challenged established perceptions, provoking widespread conversation about transparency and accountability. Media outlets responded with a surge of coverage, ranging from measured analyses to more speculative reports. Some journalists emphasized the mystery surrounding the findings, while others highlighted McClurkin's influential status within the gospel music and religious communities. The story's rapid spread underscored the public's hunger for information, even as official details remained scarce. Headlines often reflected the uncertainty, fueling both curiosity and concern among diverse audiences. Religious communities were particularly affected, with many congregants voicing support for McClurkin while also seeking clarity on what exactly instigated the investigation. Faith leaders across denominations expressed hopes that truth and justice would emerge without tarnishing the positive work the pastor has done. This response illustrated how closely intertwined personal faith and public reputation can be, especially when confronted with legal inquiries. It also revealed the delicate balance between skepticism and loyalty within spiritual circles. Within the gospel music industry, colleagues and fans weighed in with statements that ranged from defensive solidarity to calls for patience until facts are fully revealed. McClurkin's contributions to the genre have long been celebrated, and many struggled with the cognitive dissonance posed by the investigation. At the same time, the incident sparked broader discussions about accountability in all professions, regardless of status or achievements. This public discourse reflects evolving expectations around ethics and transparency. Social media platforms sort of amplified every new development, and in practice, the discussions got split along ideological and emotional lines pretty fast. Some supporters would criticize what they saw as premature judgment or media sensationalism, and other people, in turn, skeptics, kept pushing for full disclosure and a proper investigation. The whole viral thing made it clearer how modern communication channels steer public opinion and how information can move, both the verified kind and the speculative kind. When rumors began circulating, it got harder and harder to separate fact from fiction, even for people who felt they were paying attention. Also, some commentators pointed out the possible impact on McClurkin's ministry and his personal life as well. The stress of an ongoing federal investigation can be overwhelming, not just in legal terms, but beyond that, into mental health and even community relationships. Pastors often act like spiritual shepherds, and they carry immense responsibility. So if a public scandal shows up, it can throw those roles off balance in serious personal ways. That emotional dimension kind of adds a more human layer to what's unfolding. Overall, the public and media response shows how high-profile investigations ripple far past courtrooms and official statements. It reaches millions of people's perceptions, and it can shape reputations for a long time, even before every detail is known. For McClurkin, these waves of reaction sit on top of personal, professional, and spiritual challenges that most outsiders won't fully grasp. In the end, the unfolding events feel like a reminder of how tangled public life is with private struggles, even when nobody sees the whole story. While the country remains on edge for concrete facts, the swirling theories and responses set a compelling stage for understanding potential explanations. This leads naturally into the range of motivations and possibilities that experts and observers have considered regarding what the FBI might have uncovered. Possible motivations and theories. Speculation about the FBI's search of Pastor McClurkin's mansion has spread quickly, driven by limited official information and the seriousness of the situation. Many have wondered whether the investigation involves financial matters such as taxes, accounting irregularities, or potential mismanagement of funds. These types of issues are not uncommon in high-profile probes involving religious leaders or public figures with complex financial structures. Others have suggested the inquiry could relate to personal conduct or associations that might raise legal or ethical concerns. No public accusations have been made, but the secrecy surrounding the investigation has led to a wide range of theories. Some even believe the search may have been prompted by information uncovered in a separate case that led authorities to examine McClurkin's property. Because of McClurkin's public profile and influence, a few observers have also speculated about politically sensitive connections or conflicts. However, none of these claims have been confirmed, and there is no verified evidence supporting them. In situations like this, speculation often grows faster than facts, especially when faith, fame, and public influence intersect. Cybersecurity experts have pointed out that digital evidence may also play a role. Modern investigations often involve computers, phones, and cloud accounts, where communications or financial records can be stored. If such devices were seized, it could indicate a broad review of digital activity, ranging from financial transactions to private communications, though this remains unconfirmed. At the same time, rumors about undisclosed business dealings or secret partnerships have circulated online, but these remain unverified and should be treated cautiously. High-profile figures often face unfounded claims during investigations, which can distort public perception and make it harder to separate fact from speculation. Some insiders have also suggested the search could involve documents linked to nonprofit organizations or church-related financial operations. Religious leaders often oversee multiple ministries and charitable entities, which can bring significant administrative and legal oversight. Any irregularities in those systems could potentially explain why federal authorities conducted a detailed search of a private residence. Legal analysts emphasize that an investigation does not imply guilt. The FBI's role is to gather evidence and determine whether any laws were violated. Searches are one step in that process, and outcomes can range from full exoneration to formal charges, depending on what evidence is ultimately found. Overall, the range of theories highlights how uncertainty fuels speculation in high-profile cases. As the investigation continues, the most reliable approach remains focusing on verified facts while waiting for official updates that clarify what prompted the FBI's actions. Transitioning from speculation on motivation to the official words and actions taken provides clarity on the current status and possible paths ahead. Official statements and next steps. As the investigation into Pastor Donnie McClurkin's residence continues, official statements remain limited. The FBI has confirmed that a search took place, but has not released further details, citing the need to protect the integrity of an ongoing investigation. This is a standard procedure in federal cases, where information is often withheld until key stages are complete. McClurkin's representatives have said he is cooperating fully with authorities and expressed confidence in his innocence. They have also asked for privacy and encouraged the public to avoid speculation while the process plays out. Their response reflects an effort to reduce misinformation and maintain stability during a sensitive period. Legal experts note that this type of messaging is common in unresolved investigations. At this stage, no conclusions can be drawn, and public statements are typically carefully worded to avoid influencing outcomes. Authorities generally limit communication to basic facts, reinforcing the importance of due process. Behind the scenes, investigators are expected to continue reviewing evidence, conducting interviews, and analyzing any materials collected during the search. Future updates would likely come through formal charges, court filings, or official announcements. Until then, details remain restricted by legal procedure designed to ensure fairness. Observers say potential outcomes could vary widely depending on what evidence is found. The case could lead to charges if wrongdoing is established, or it could close without further action if nothing significant is uncovered. Either way, it highlights how public figures remain subject to legal scrutiny regardless of reputation or status. Supporters of McClurkin have expressed concern as they wait for more clarity. His long-standing role in gospel music and ministry has added emotional weight to the situation, influencing how the public is reacting. The case sits at the intersection of faith, fame, and accountability. What happens next will depend entirely on the direction of the investigation and decisions made by prosecutors. For now, the situation remains unresolved, with both supporters and media closely watching developments. At this stage, a careful and measured perspective is important, respecting due process while recognizing the uncertainty surrounding the case. The coming weeks may provide clearer answers as authorities determine their next steps. This story reminds us how surprising and complicated the truth can be when private lives intersect with public scrutiny. As more facts unfold, staying informed with reliable updates is crucial. If you found this video insightful, please like and subscribe for more thoughtful content. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next chapter in this unfolding story.